don't do this. That's my top tip. Don't do that to a celebrity or a guest speaker. Just sort of gently enter the conversation, bring it to a close, and sort of point at them and get the audience to applaud. So hello, my name is Del, and I'm one of the Super Theatre presenters here at the Ideal Home Show. I've been in television, film and music for 22 years. I originally studied sound engineering and music and then did a master's in piano. So that gave me a grounding of performance, and it meant that I wasn't particularly nervous coming on stage. I've done lifestyle and shopping television for several years. I've been on the BBC One's Apprentice, teaching them how to present with an earpiece. I've been a pilot on Air Crash Confidential on the Discovery Channel. So I've done a whole bunch of different TV shows and a whole bunch of different filming, which gives me a confidence to speak to some of the presenters that we've got on stage. And here are some of my top tips. First of all, if you do have to give a presentation on stage, just take it slowly. A lot of the time when you're talking, the pauses that seem like they are hours when you're actually speaking aren't very long at all. So you can give yourself a measured response when you're speaking on stage. Secondly, make sure that you prepare. It's incredibly important that if I'm interviewing, especially some of the big celebrities that we have at the Ideal Home Show, for example, that you know what you're talking about. So I might do Google searches, for example, or web searches on the celebrity that you have to interview. I might read the books that they've put out. I might even ask AI for some information or for some questions, because that can give you these little sort of quick fire round questions that can come in handy on stage. Generally speaking, some of the celebrities that we have are big names. So last year we had Wayne Sleep, for example. We've had Nick Knowles, Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen, David Domine, Mary Berry, some of the biggest stars of stage and screen. So you need to know what you're talking about, and you need to make people comfortable as well. But actually, some of my favorite people to talk to are those that haven't been on stage before. Often we'll get people that are demonstrating how they'll upcycle a cupboard or how they'll paint different bits of furniture, and they'll do this on stage, which I find really interesting because that's the heart of the Ideal Home Show. The heart of the Ideal Home Show is helping people to improve their homes, their gardens, their living rooms, dining rooms, bathrooms, kitchens. So having people on stage that can teach that sort of thing is terrific. Now, before going on stage, it's important to be calm. It's important to try and relax. So I recommend doing some breathing exercises, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Make sure you've got water with you. Try not to have too many hot drinks before going on, because sometimes that can sort of clam your voice up a little bit as well. And although I do love doing television work, I actually really enjoy being on stage because it's the interaction with the audience, which is super fun. So if you can try and get interactive with your audience, ask them questions, bring them in as part of the interview. So instead of just staring at the people that you're chatting to or the person that you're interviewing, also look out to the audience and make eye contact with them as well and try and get a little bit of a reaction from them. When you're presenting, you might be doing different types of presentation. So you might be giving a one-on-one interview. You might be looking after a question and answer session. You might have to coax a bit more out of people that you're chatting to as well, and try and put a bit of humor in, try and have a little bit of comedy at times. So it sort of gives ebbs and flows, peaks and troughs throughout your presentation. One of my best moments on stage was when we had Wayne Sleep, the famous ballet dancer, in last year. I mean, he's danced with Princess Diana. He is a major international ballet dancer for the Royal Ballet. And we had Wayne Sleep on stage dancing with the pottery expert Keith Brymer-Jones, doing ballet warm-up exercises. I literally had to pinch myself. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen on stage, and the crowd was just falling on the floor laughing. One of the most challenging moments that I've had on stage, that's a tricky one. I mean, everyone that we get on stage here at the Super Theatre, they've all been really, really nice. I've never had anybody that has been a particular challenge. But what you do get sometimes are people that are very nervous, people that have never spoken on stage before, people that have never done public speaking. So your job as an interviewer, your job as somebody who's chatting to them, is to try and bring them out of their shell. And I always say to people that haven't spoken on stage before, I'm there to look after them. So if there are moments of silence, I can step in and try and make things a little bit better. Probably the most challenging aspects are if there's a problem with the technology. So, for example, if the PowerPoint clicker goes down or the screen goes off or something of that nature, you've then got to step in, ask them questions about what they do, ask them questions about what they're here for at the Ideal Home Show, ask them if they're enjoying the Ideal Home Show, whilst the guys in the background are racing around trying to fix the technology. So, whilst there's not really a challenge in interviewing people, if you've prepared properly, sometimes you can get challenges that are out of your control, like problems with technology, which often happens. So part of your job when you're public speaking, or if you're an MC, is to actually make sure that you're timekeeping properly. Often I am a bit of a poor timekeeper, especially if you've got somebody like George Clark, the Channel 4 architect, who can talk literally for hours. I can have him on stage for 60 minutes and I don't even get to the questions that I want to ask him because he's such a good speaker. It's the same with Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen as well. But the thing I love about Lawrence is that he's such a comedian. He'll always take the mickey out of you. He'll always have that little bit of a banter. But at the end of the day, if a celebrity's got to get a taxi or you've got someone on stage that you need to get off because you've got someone else that needs to get onto the stage, you just have to be sort of firm. You just have to sort of round up the session and then take it in the neck a little bit if they don't like it. Don't do this. That's my top tip. Don't do that to a celebrity or a guest speaker. Just sort of gently enter the conversation, bring it to a close and sort of point at them and get the audience to applaud. So if you are going to interview a celebrity or a guest on stage, it's important that you take them aside beforehand and let them know what you're going to actually ask them about, because you don't want to have a situation where you ask something incredibly personal or you ask somebody about a news story that's happened and they don't really want to chat about it. So what I'll always do is just take aside your guest for a second, show them the list of questions that you've got planned, ask them what you're thinking about talking to them about, and just make sure that they are on the same page as you. I had a guest, for example, just yesterday here at the Ideal Home Show, where there was quite a personal story about their father when they were writing their book. And I wanted to make sure that they were okay to talk about that aspect. And they were in this case, but it's important to make sure that you're on the same page, especially if you're going to talk about personal aspects or news stories that are maybe slightly taboo in some cases. So in my career overall, over the past 22 years, I've had some really amazing moments. One of my favorites was being a pirate for a Netflix TV series where they actually put brown makeup on my teeth. I didn't know teeth makeup was a thing, but apparently it is. And putting on a Cornish accent was absolutely terrific. Having that sort of international exposure, having people dubbing your voice into Spanish and Italian as a sort of weird Spanish pirate, that was super, super fun and around the world as well. Bad moments when you're doing filming or in TV, it's always when you are playing a part. So if you're doing a recording for a film, for example, and then they cut you out. And this is the sort of thing that can happen. So if you are doing public speaking or you are on TV or you are on film, don't tell all your friends you're going to be on something until it actually comes out, because you never know, you might have your part cut. And that's happened on occasion, because that is this industry. Hello and welcome to the Ideal Home Show. And that is how we walk out on stage and then have a chat and introduce our celebrity. So hopefully I've given you some public speaking tips that will come in handy. And remember, at the end of the day, have a bit of fun. And everybody's human. So even if you've got the biggest celebrity in the world that you're chatting to on stage, they are essentially a human being and they're the same as you. So have a bit of fun, relax, and ask some good questions.